Once upon a time, a butterfly named Zoe lighted on a branch next to a caterpillar named Cleo, and the two struck up a conversation. Quickly, Zoe could see that Cleo needed a friend, as he seemed a little sad. So she started sharing her self-reclaimed experiences with him. Cleo couldn't imagine any of the foreign concepts that his new friend was attempting to explain. But Zoe knew the joy of arriving as a butterfly and continued sharing the details of her transformation within her chrysalis. Although Cleo resisted and complained, the newly enlightened Zoe was courageous and spoke her truth. She remembered being a caterpillar not long ago and was determined to help Cleo rewrite his story too.
Without change, I wouldn't be here. The miraculous process of how I became a butterfly starts as a caterpillar, just like you. Think of it in terms of transforming your current life in order to make way for a new one. Our Odyssey reminds us that new growth cannot occur unless the old is shed.
I'll never have wings like you, Zoe. I couldn't possibly be a butterfly.
Of course you can. It just requires knowledge, action, and patience. The transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly takes place in the chrysalis, which symbolizes abandoning the beliefs that hold you down to the ground, to move into a life that gives you wings to fly.
I don't want to change. I'm good just the way I am.
Wasn't it you I just heard complaining about how hard it was to be a caterpillar when I fluttered up here? I believe I heard something about always having to watch for birds and falling from high branches. I don't think you're happy at all. I think you're stuck. Listen to this quote from Reinhold Niebuhr, Cleo. Change is the essence of life. Be willing to surrender what you are for what you want to become.
But what if I'm afraid to change?
It doesn't have to be scary, silly. Let me explain. Inside your chrysalis, you will learn that the thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs you hold have a big effect on the way you interpret the world around you and how you feel. The flutter exercises within your chrysalis will give you the ability to experience new strategies and techniques to help you transform those beliefs. Plus, you will be given guided instructions on how to rewrite your story using positive psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, and bibliotherapy. Isn't that exciting? You get to rewrite your story so you can become a butterfly.
Biblio who? Cognitive what?
Let me give you a little background about these techniques. You may not be familiar with them, but trust me, they really help. Positive psychology is the study of how we prosper in the face of adversity. Two really smart scientists define positive psychology as the scientific study of positive functioning and flourishing on multiple levels that include the biological, personal, relational, institutional, cultural, and global dimensions of life. A fundamental principle of positive psychology is that therapists don't fix problems. They assist in achieving happier, richer, and more whole lives, which is the premise behind cognitive behavior therapy. One of the essential components to the success of cognitive behavior therapy is to help you change negative thinking as a way to change how you feel. It's actually been around since the ancient Greeks. The classic story of Plato's cave is the perfect illustration of mistaking appearance for reality. The idea that our perceptions determine the reality we experience was clearly a focus of Plato's idealism. In this story, Socrates described how a group of men, chained to a wall, observed shadows dancing across the wall in front of them. They didn't know that these shadows were due to figures near the entrance of the cave moving behind them in front of a candle. To these men, the shadows were reality. One day, one of the men turned around and saw that there were shapes moving behind him, casting their shadows on the wall. From that day on, the reality of the shadows no longer existed. Reality can now be defined as the figures one sees outside the cave, nothing more, nothing less. Cognitive behavior therapy helps one see outside the cave through a process of unlearning and relearning.
Oh, it's kind of like when I see a shadow on the branch and get scared, thinking it's a bird coming to eat me. But when I turn around, I see that it's just a cloud moving by.
Yes, you're getting it. Cognitive behavior therapy also aims to teach you how to identify, evaluate, and respond to dysfunctional thoughts and beliefs through goal-oriented and solution-focused directives. It emphasizes the present moment through techniques that change thinking, mood, and behavior. It educates and teaches you how to be your own therapist.
What about that biblio stuff?
It's biblio, meaning books. Bibliotherapy is a key ingredient to the cognitive behavior therapy educational training process. It incorporates a philosophy of self-efficacy and user empowerment. According to Johns Hopkins School of Education, the use of literature in this way can be traced far back in history to the days of the first libraries in Greece. The first documented use of bibliotherapy as an intervention technique was recorded in 1840.
You expect me to believe that I can change just by reading a book? I've known lots of caterpillars that read, and they're no better off than me. That sounds crazy.
It's not that you read, it's what you read, Cleo. Some of the world's greatest minds were and are readers, but they read books that expand their mind, not limit it. It may not be a face-to-face encounter, but Dr. Neil Froude calls it magic. He says the best books give the illusion of listening and caring because authors, who are also clinicians, can draw on years of experience interacting with people to leave each reader saying, "Wow, that book was about me."
I guess I can give it a try. But how will I know what books to read?
As you make your way through the transformational process within your chrysalis, book prescriptions will be noted on the outside of each pocket, respective to that word or concept you will be working through. You can think of it as textual healing.
Textual healing. That's funny. I don't think that's what Marvin Gaye had in mind.
Who's Marvin Gaye?
You know, when I get that feeling, I want textual healing. Get it? Textual healing. Textual healing, baby, is good for me. You still don't get it?
Okay, well, just know that reading can provide an environment to help change belief systems that are holding you back. Mark Twain appreciated the power of reading and said, "The man who doesn't read books has no advantage over the man who can't read them."
So, my beliefs are what keep me stuck as a caterpillar? I really would love to be a butterfly. I just don't...
Do you want to reclaim your life, Cleo? If you want to be a butterfly, you must change your limiting beliefs. Buckminster Fuller said that 99.9999% of what affects our reality is undetectable by our senses. So we must all learn to think for ourselves rather than blindly believe what we've been taught. Our beliefs are simply the thoughts we keep thinking until they become our reality. The meaning that we assign these beliefs helps to determine our destiny. In fact, many live their whole lives unaware of how their beliefs are affecting their feelings, thoughts, and actions. Think about it this way. Most of what you hear is only an opinion. Much of what you see, merely a perspective. Neither is necessarily truth nor fact. It becomes truth or fact when you decide it is. Rewrite your beliefs, and you rewrite perception. Rewrite perception, and you rewrite genes and behavior. Have you ever heard of Dr. Bruce Lipton? He says the new science of epigenetics has shown that our genes are controlled and manipulated by how our minds perceive and interpret our environment.
Well, what's a gene?
Let me see if I can explain. Each of the trillions of cells in our bodies contain thousands of genes. Genes carry the information that determine your traits. These are features or characteristics passed on to you or inherited from your parents and their parents and their parents and so on down the line. It was formerly believed by science that it is our genes themselves that dictate our traits, that our genes form who we are. The new findings are great news because it means that we can change many things about the way we are, including our health, by changing how we interpret events and situations which happen to us. This science proves that we are no longer victims of our genes. Dr. Lipton says that the moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body.
Zoe, I really don't want to be on the ground anymore.
If like attracts like, and as you think so you create is a universal truth, then you must focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, because there is a huge difference. Either way, your beliefs are your reality, and eventually your beliefs materialize, good or bad. So you must focus on what you do want, not on what you don't want. As you move forward in your journey and transformation, I want to share a mantra you can say to yourself if the journey becomes challenging or if you feel stuck. Remember this, Cleo. At any given moment, you have the power to say, "This is not how my story is going to end."
I really do want to change my story, Zoe. But are you telling me it's going to be hard? Really, really hard?
I won't promise you that this transformation will always be easy, but what I will promise you is that it will be worth it when you arrive as your new self. There will be some hard realizations, some painful memories, and perhaps a tear or two as you leave the old you behind. Keep in mind the goal of this program is to help you rewrite your story. But before you do that, you must first consciously acknowledge all the old chapters, all the painful chapters. Recognizing the patterns that got you to where you are today is the first step in being free from not repeating them. Staying in the same mindset will only bring about the same results.
I really need to believe differently to move ahead, don't I, Zoe?
Yes, and there will be lots of tools to use throughout your self-reclaimed journey to help you along the way. Cleo, all personal breakthroughs begin with a change in beliefs. The most effective way to make this shift is to get your brain to connect massive pain to a limiting belief. You must feel deep down in your gut that not only has this belief cost you pain in the past, it's costing you right now, and ultimately bringing you pain in the future. Then you must learn to associate immense pleasure to the thought of accepting a new, empowering belief.
Pain in my gut? Do you mean a stomach ache?
No, not in this case. But did you know that there are many physical symptoms that are tied to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions? If you feel the way you think, and you think negatively or have limiting beliefs, what do you think happens to you physically? Your mind and mental state can have a profound effect on your physical self, your spiritual experience, and your overall quality of life, whether good or bad. The mind, the body, and the spirit are all harmoniously interconnected. Statistics show that 75 to 95% of all ailments are stress-related and can be directly attributed to one's lifestyle choices.
Zoe, now I know I really want to be a butterfly. But I'm scared my old thoughts will creep back in while I'm in my chrysalis. I'm so worried that I might get sick because of my negative beliefs. How will I ever become a butterfly if I'm too scared to change? I don't think I can do this. What will other people think? Where will I ever begin? I'm just too far gone. I don't want to try and fail like I always do.
What you just said is a great example of focusing on what you don't want instead of putting your energy into getting the result you do want.
So I should have said I want to be healthy so I can keep my body in shape and believe that to be the truth? I don't know why I said it wrong.
Cleo, it's not about being wrong. You're simply in the habit of focusing on the negative versus the positive. That's a part of what we've been talking about, changing your belief system to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
I think I'm ready to get started, Zoe. I've made up my mind. I'm going to be a butterfly. Where do I start?
That's the beauty of your self-reclaimed transformation, Cleo. You can start anywhere you want. All of it is equally important to your metamorphosis. Remember, the goal is to change limiting beliefs into limitless beliefs so you can rewrite your story. But be patient and keep in mind that some of your limiting beliefs may come to mind easily and quickly, while others may slowly emerge throughout your transformational process. It takes some time, so don't get frustrated with yourself. Take all the time you need to work through your old beliefs.
Okay, Zoe. I'm going to grab my pencil and get started. I'll see you on the other side. Hope you recognize me. And thanks, Zoe, for believing in me.
You're welcome, Cleo. I'll be waiting for your arrival. Cleo, you're so beautiful. How do you feel?
I feel free.
You are free, Cleo, but you were free all along. You just didn't believe you were.
I've rewritten my story. So now what?
Cleo, I'm so proud of what you've accomplished. I knew you could do it. You just had to believe you could. Now go fly. Start living your rewritten story and share it with others. It's not the end. It's just the beginning.
And they began living happily ever after. The beginning.